Snow fell softly on the evening park, transforming it into a winter wonderland. Elena Martinez sat on a bench, holding her 8-month-old daughter Mia close, trying to keep them both warm. At 29, she'd made a series of questionable decisions, and this blind date was shaping up to be another one. Her friend had insisted she needed to get back out there after her ex had abandoned them when Mia was born. Elena had finally agreed, choosing a park meetup because it felt safer and she couldn't afford a babysitter. Her friend had promised the guy was understanding about kids. He was now 40 minutes late. Elena checked her phone again. No messages. Mia was getting fussy in the cold, and Elena's thin jacket, the only decent one she owned, wasn't enough for either of them. She should leave, she knew. But part of her kept hoping, kept waiting, kept believing that maybe this time someone would show up for her. The temperature dropped as darkness fell. Elena wrapped Mia tighter in her blanket, but the baby was crying now, cold and uncomfortable. Other park-goers hurried past, bundled in heavy coats, barely glancing at the young mother and her baby. "I'm sorry, mi amor," Elena whispered to Mia. "We'll go home soon." "Just a few more minutes. Excuse me, are you all right?" Elena looked up to find a man standing before her. He wore an expensive suit and a long wool coat, clearly on his way home from work. He was probably in his mid-30s with kind eyes and genuine concern on his face. "I'm fine," Elena said automatically, though she was shivering and Mia's cries were getting louder. "You don't look fine. You're both freezing." Without waiting for permission, the man shrugged out of his coat. "Here, take this." "I can't. That's too much. You have a baby in the cold with inadequate clothing. I have a coat I can spare and a warm car 5 minutes away. Please take it." He draped the coat around both of them before Elena could protest further. The warmth was immediate and overwhelming. Mia's cries quieted as Elena pulled the coat tighter. "Thank you," Elena whispered. "I'll get it back to you, I promise. If you give me your address, don't worry about that now. Why are you sitting in the cold with a baby?" Elena felt her face flush with embarrassment. "I was supposed to meet someone. A blind date. But he's over an hour late now, and I should have left, but I kept thinking maybe—" She stopped, hearing how pathetic it sounded. The man's expression darkened. "He stood you up? With you bringing your baby in the cold? What kind of—" He stopped himself, clearly angry on her behalf. "I'm sorry. That's terrible. It's fine. I'm used to disappointment." Elena started gathering her things with one arm while holding Mia with the other. "I should get home anyway. Thank you for the coat. Can I have your number so I can return it? I'm not worried about the coat, but I am worried about how you're getting home." "Did you drive?" "Bus," Elena admitted. "The stop is just 2 blocks away." "In this snow, with a baby in the cold?" "Absolutely not." "Let me drive you home." "I can't accept. You've already given me your coat. And I'd like to make sure you both get home safely. Please. It's freezing. The snow is getting heavier, and carrying a baby on a bus in this weather isn't safe." Elena looked at this stranger, this well-dressed, clearly successful man who'd stopped to help when no one else had. Every warning about accepting rides from strangers warred with the reality that Mia was cold and the bus would be crowded and difficult. "Okay," she said finally. "Thank you. But just so you know, I have pepper spray and my friend knows where I am." "Smart," the man said approvingly. "Always good to be cautious. I'm Adrian, by the way. Adrian Chen, Elena. And this is Mia." Adrian's car was warm and luxurious. He turned up the heat immediately, making sure Elena and Mia were comfortable before pulling out. As he drove, he asked gentle questions. About Mia's age, about Elena's neighborhood. Nothing too personal. "Can I ask you something?" Adrian said after a few minutes. "The guy who stood you up, he knew you were bringing your baby?" "He said he was fine with it," Elena replied. "Said he understood I was a single mom and couldn't always get sitters. Guess he changed his mind. Or he's an idiot who didn't deserve you in the first place." Elena smiled despite herself. "You don't know anything about me. Maybe I'm terrible and he had good reason to run. You're sitting in a freezing park with your baby, giving someone who disappointed you the benefit of the doubt, and you immediately thought about returning a coat to a stranger. That tells me you're kind, optimistic, and honest. Those aren't terrible qualities. They're naive qualities, Elena said quietly. My ex said I was too trusting. That's why he could walk away so easily. He knew I'd let him. That's not naivety. That's hope. And the fact that people have disappointed you doesn't mean you're the problem. They arrived at Elena's modest apartment building. Adrian parked and got out, opening her door and helping her with Mia before Elena could protest. Thank you, Elena said, starting to take off his coat. For everything. The warmth, the ride, the kindness. I'll wash this and get it back to you. Keep it for tonight, Adrian interrupted. Your apartment, do you have good heating? Elena hesitated. It's adequate. That means no. Keep the coat tonight. Keep your baby warm. You can return it later. He pulled out a business card. That's my office number. Call me when you're ready to return it, and we'll arrange something. Elena took the card, reading it in the streetlight. Adrian Chen, CEO, Chen Investments. Her eyes widened. You're a CEO and you gave your coat to a stranger? I gave my coat to someone who needed it more than I did. The CEO thing is just what I do for work. It's not who I am. Who are you then? Adrian smiled. Someone who believes that how you treat people when no one's watching is what actually matters. Someone whose mother raised him to help others. Someone who thinks you deserved better than being stood up in the snow with your baby. Over the next weeks, Elena tried several times to return the coat, but each attempt turned into something more. Coffee while Adrian was in the area anyway. Lunch when Elena mentioned Mia had a doctor's appointment nearby. A weekend at the park when Adrian happened to be jogging there. You're terrible at pretending this is coincidence, Elena finally said, laughing as Adrian showed up at her neighborhood coffee shop for the 4th time. Okay, you caught me. I'm not here by coincidence. I'm here because I haven't stopped thinking about you since that night in the park. Because you're kind and strong and you're raising a beautiful daughter alone. Because when you talk about your dreams, going back to school, building a better life for Mia, you light up. I want to be around that light. Adrian, look at my life. I live in a tiny apartment, work 2 jobs, have a baby. You're a CEO. We're from completely different worlds. So, different worlds can meet, can coexist, can build something new together. He paused. Unless you're not interested. If that's the case, I'll respect that and disappear. But if you're saying no because you think you're not good enough for me, then you're wrong. You're more than good enough. Elena looked at this man who'd stopped in the snow, who'd given her warmth when she was freezing, who'd shown up consistently for weeks asking nothing in return. I'm scared, she admitted. Mia's father left us without looking back. He said I wasn't worth the trouble. What if you realize the same thing? Then I'd be as stupid as he was. But Elena, I'm not him. I'm not going to promise I'm perfect or that this will be easy. But I'm promising I'll show up, that I'll see you and Mia and choose you both every day for as long as you'll let me. They dated slowly, carefully. Adrian never pushed, always included Mia, proved through consistent action that he meant what he'd said. He helped with daycare costs, not as charity, but as investment in their future. He showed up for Mia's first birthday party. He was there when Elena got accepted to night classes. A year after that snowy evening, Adrian proposed in the same park on the same bench where they'd met. You were freezing and alone. And I gave you my coat, Adrian said, kneeling before her while Mia played nearby. But the truth is, you gave me something more valuable, purpose. You showed me that success without compassion is empty, that the most important thing I could do with my resources was help someone who needed it. You taught me that family isn't about blood or circumstance, it's about choosing to show up. Yes, Elena said through tears. Yes to everything. At their wedding, Elena's maid of honor told the story of that night, the blind date that never happened, the stranger in a suit, the coat that saved them. Sometimes the worst dates lead to the best love stories, she said. Sometimes getting stood up means you're available when the right person appears. And sometimes a simple act of kindness, a coat given in the cold, changes everything. Years later, they'd return to that bench every year on the anniversary of their meeting. Adrian would bring his coat, Elena would bring Mia, and they'd remember the night that everything changed. Do you ever think about the guy who stood me up? Elena asked once. Sometimes, Adrian admitted. Mostly to thank him for being stupid enough to let you go. His loss became my greatest blessing. Because sometimes the people who abandon us create space for the ones who'll stay. Sometimes freezing on a park bench leads to the warmth of true love. And sometimes a man in a suit gives more than his coat. He gives hope, consistency, and the reminder that kindness still exists in unexpected places. If this story warmed your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for more tales about compassion and unexpected love. Comment about a time when someone's simple act of kindness changed your life. Those moments matter more than we know.